Hi everyone, I'm Tina with Gems, Paper, Scissors. I am an independent consultant with Close to My Heart. Today I'm just going to quickly do a motivational Monday kind of a concept, and this week I'm going to start it off with a color challenge. What that means is I'm going to give you a color. I'm going to work with it here today, and you have until next Monday to submit on my Facebook page with the hashtag MM for Motivation Monday #1. So that's going to be my challenge. And our color, before it completely retires out, is eggplant. I love this color. And although I love it so much, I'm not going to work with the paper today. I'm only going to use ink for my project. And the reason for that is I have boxed up all of my cardstock of eggplant and put it aside for one of my daughters is getting married in a little over a year, okay, closer to 2 years. And they have chosen for this to be one of their main colors. So I'm going to need all the cardstock I have put aside for things like invitations. So I'm still going to try and utilize this as my primary color for this project. And I don't really know where it's going to go. I've got my ink. I have a card base. I've decided I'm going to use a very abused and loved stencil. Some adhesive. I haven't even picked out my stamp set, to be honest, because I don't know what I'm going to do. And then I've got, I don't know if I'm going to use it or not, but I have some mix-in paper that I haven't used up from the current catalog. And just figured to get motivated, hopefully motivate you in turn, and look at some options of doing something different and playful and getting our creativity on. So here we go. I'm going to change views. I'm going to turn on my other camera so that you can see my desktop instead of my head. I'm not going to share today because all you'd be seeing is the side of my head. So I'm kind of in process of moving my craft room about. So hang on. Here we go. So I've got my workspace kind of handy. I've got a messy mat because I'm going to be inking. And so away we go. Let's go ahead and see how this works. This is a really great mat for messes because it just, you can put it into your sink and wash it off. I'm going to start with my card base and use my bone folder to fold it down, flatten it up, and set that to the side. And then I have some white daisy cardstock that I'm going to cut down to, I don't know. I think I'm going to actually just cut it down to 4.5 inches. So it's a little bit big. So I can trim down what I actually want after I ink it up. I have a sponge dauber and my ink and my stencil. So I'm gonna overlay it and use my sponge dauber. I prefer sponge daubers over cut sponges just because I get messy enough without adding more to my challenge. So I'm gonna get that nice and juicy. And if you've signed in and you're watching me live, go on ahead and give a shout out. I'm not going to say hi to everybody as I see you, but know that you are welcome, and I am glad to see everybody. Currently, it is roasty toasty where I'm at. We're sitting at 91 degrees, and I do not have air conditioning. So I may take a moment and have a drink here and there if I'm talking too much and get too warm. If you have any questions, feel free to type them into the comments, and I will answer all questions as a comment in the video after I'm done making a mess. Because, well, I can not seem to read everything at the same time as I craft. I don't know. So, yeah. So I'm going to just shift that down a little so that I can continue down the sheet using my eggplant ink. You know, this is one of those times where I'm like, I don't own everything under the sun. I have a lot of stuff, don't get me wrong. I have a lot of crafty stuff, but I'm able to say I don't need everything. And even if I have it, I don't have to use everything, because I like to give myself personal challenges of thinking outside of the box. So that is what I am doing with today's Motivation Monday challenge. Again, we're using eggplant as our color challenge for the week. If you do artwork and submit it to my Facebook page with MM1 for Motivation Monday 1, I will consider featuring your artwork in my next newsletter. And I will put everybody's name in a drawing. I will do one drawing a quarter. I would love to do more than that, but you know, times are what they are. COVID's making small businesses a little challenging with people being unemployed. Oh, that turned out quite nice. Obviously, I use the stencil a lot. I use it for texture paste. I use it for shimmer. I use it for ink. I use it just to doodle. I use it for standard embossing through a more traditional folder method. And so this gets used a lot. I'm currently putting things away as we go, so bear with me, please. So I currently hang all of my stencils in an envelope in my teeny tiny little space. So let's see here. Okay, I've got my mix-in paper pack. That's kind of nice, but I'm not sure if it makes me super duper happy. Nope, that's way too busy. That's not too bad. It's a little flat looking. And that is just much, much too visually intense for me and the project I'm kind of starting to form in my mind. So let's try this one. Oh, that's pretty good, actually. Yeah, let's get that a little closer so you can see the offset. Yeah, I really kind of like that one. What's on the other side of this? Nope, definitely no. Of course, saying it that way reminds me of Ollivander and the wand shop in Harry Potter 1. But that's been on my mind quite a bit lately, apparently. So I think I'm going to hang on to all three of these. Hi, Renee and Irma. Thank you for joining us today. Normally, I don't say hi to everyone as I go, but I happen to have looked up just as I see you both saying hi and pretty and making comments. So I happen to have a moment. So I'm going to grab my paper trimmer again. I think this is going to be an accent instead of a primary on my card. So I'm going to trim things down and hope for the best because not measuring a ton. I'm going to do this as my primary background. So typical card is 4¼ by 5½, but I like having a little bit of white edge border. And so we'll run with that as a 4 by 5¼ and then I will let's do this as a trim piece. So how about a 1¼ by that 5¼ Let's see how we like that. Are any of you getting your crafty imagination hat on today? I've been very much having fun with product that I know is getting ready to retire, as well as getting my hands on just a few little things of the upcoming items that I've been fortunate enough as an independent consultant to have a preview period for. And I have to tell you, I can't wait for this book to go live on the 1st because there is just so much wow in this book. The new color of the year is mind-bogglingly beautiful. So, I actually strangely really like this. So I'm going to go ahead and run with that. And then I'm going to attach this out. And then I'm going to try and figure out a stamp to put onto this. Like I said, I didn't go into this with a preconceived plan. I don't know if I'm going to add any sparkles to this, or ribbon, or shimmer tape, or I don't know. I have no idea. All I know is I started with the color challenge, which is eggplant, and grabbed a few items out of my stash to see what I could come up with. Typically, I probably would have either raised that up or this up with a 3D foam tape, but I am currently waiting on an order. I'm going to leave that until I figure out what stamp I'm going to use. I'm going to run with something out of my smaller stamp sizes. Let's see here. Is this too big? It might be. Yeah, that's kind of big. I could stamp it directly on in black ink and emboss it, but I think that would be a little too much for me. So let's go back to see what else I have in my stash. Let's see. I seem to be drawn to sentiments right this moment. Yeah, I think what I really want, I think, isn't going to fit. But I'm going to hold it up and see if I can figure out a way anyways. You are enough. And then I could fussy cut that. Yep, that'll work. Okay. So let me grab some more white daisy cardstock and add a smudgy, smushy mat under this. Slide that in, grab my block, and I'm going to actually try double stamping this so that I get kind of a shadow effect. We'll see how that turns out. I'm gonna do you are in, let's see here. I'm gonna do that in archival black. Get that really nice and smushy. I'm gonna be fussy cutting this, so it doesn't really matter where on this paper I stamp this. Got a real nice UR. I have a little extra ink, but because I rolled it, and I'm actually really okay with that because of the fact that I'm going to be fussy cutting. We're going to see if stamping it again in the eggplant as a shadow effect, just a little off to the side, makes it look good, or if it's a chuck it in the round file. Oh, I do like that a lot. Okay, so I'm going to tidy up my block. And then I'm going to change my stamp out to enough. And then I'll ink that in the same fashion. In a different spot after I get it all nice and juicy. You see how I like it really, really juicy wet. And one of the fantastic things about Close to My Heart's acrylic blocks is the fact that we can see through them, which means we can easily go through and double stamp and get this little shadow effect and get everything lined up the way we want it. And really get much better effects than the outdated wooden blocks. And then you add in the fact that our acrylic blocks and stamp sets are latex free, and it's just amazing. I know people that have taken their rubber stamps off of the wooden blocks and mounted them on stamping gizmos like a Misty or whatever. And we don't have to do that here. We can pretty much almost always even get it lined up, get it where we want it. And if we don't roll it like I did today, we can keep everything tidy and neat. And honestly, normally I don't roll it, but I really wasn't too worried about it since I am fussy cutting here. So put my blocks where they belong to find them for the next project, and grab my scissors. And I'm just going to narrow it down a little bit so I'm not working around a big sheet. Since this is pretty much one of my keep handy to stamp on laters, it's okay if I kind of get a little messy with that. So I'm not going to do a perfect fussy cut. I want a little bit of white border so that it stands out on my eggplant stenciled sheet. And again, typically I would probably have used 3D thin tape and raised this up a little, but we use what we have on hand. And I seriously got my crafty hat going this last week. My very best friend of over 30 years, and I had planned to go on a major vacation, and the world and the pandemic being what they are, we changed our plans several times. And ultimately, because of local numbers and our choice to decrease our exposure, we ended up doing a crafting staycation where we played with all of our papers, new, old, retired, different brands, different lines, and just had a blast creating cards and scrapbooks, learning how to use our Cricut more thoroughly and efficiently, getting to, oh, see, this is really nice. I may have to I have some 3D dots, and it really, really, really does have to have a little bit of oomph. So I'm going to raise that up. I'm going to mount my scallops, my textured stenciling, and yeah. Yep, that's the direction I want it, and I'm going to place it up here. I know that's not how I started, but if you're not willing and able to change things up, then I kind of feel sad because I'm a fly by the seat of my pants kind of crafter. Some people draw up a plan or measure things out. And as you can tell, that's not how I roll. So, now of course, if I had been that person and I had done it that way, I would have probably used my thin 3D dots for this section and my higher up ones for my other word, which is enough. Because truthfully, I want everybody to remember that they are enough. So this is going to be a very special card that I'll send out to someone very soon, I am sure. Because, well, I send out a lot of cards every day. On a typical week, I average easily 25, maybe 30 cards a week that I mail out. So I make a lot of cards, and I don't have a lot on hand. I use them as I go for the most part. So this will be finishing up this project for the most part. I think I'm going to add some sparkles up here on my dots. There's that. And then I'll reach down and grab some sparkles. They might be some, let's go with the gold glitter gems. And I typically use my nonstick scissors to apply my glitter gems because it allows me to see, again, right where I'm placing them. I'm going to put it up there on my black dots, kind of to make this a little gentler, and the fact that they're so big. And then I'm going to add a couple right here. Use a larger one right there, and two smaller ones. At which point, this card is now complete. So, on Thursday, I will be back here with another live. I'll post the link to that on Wednesday, so you'll know what the topic will be and invite you to join. If you would like to receive free layout guides, tips, tricks, and the like, I strongly suggest signing up for my Facebook group. And you can find that by going to Gems, Paper, Scissors on Facebook and clicking on groups and hitting join that group, which is also Gems, Paper, Scissors. Have a great day, and I will see you again tomorrow on the group and here again on Thursday. Have a fantastic day.